I'm Mark Brooks, and I'll be providing you play-by-play of all the Bulldog football games as Channel 21, Springdale's family network, begins its 8th year of exclusive playbacks of Springdale High School football. Tonight, the 9th-ranked Bulldogs are up against a formidable foe, the Jenks Trojans of Jenks, Oklahoma. Jenks last year was the 6A Oklahoma state champs with a record of 13-1, and this year they're presently ranked #1 in the state of Oklahoma. This is perhaps the most formidable team the Springdale Bulldogs have ever opened up against. Last week, Springdale had an open date, and Jenks, in their opening game, defeated Ponca City 37-7. This Jenks team is loaded with talent. They have 2 linemen who have garnered preseason All-American recognition. In tackles Ken Hill, who's 6'3" and weighs in at a whopping 315 pounds, and also Jerry Wisney, who has been recruited by just about everybody. He weighs in at 282 pounds, stretched across a 6'7" frame, I meant to say. In addition, the Trojans feature one of the top running backs in Oklahoma, Richie Kalmus, who rushed for over 1,300 yards last year. Add to that junior quarterback Brian Presley, who was 10 of 13 last week, and you've got quite an exciting offense. But the Bulldogs, though young, are not without their own stars as they charge onto the field. For starters, Springdale has its own All-American in Joe Dean Davenport, who is 6'7", 231. The Bulldogs also have one of the most experienced coaching staffs in Arkansas. Head coach Gerald Williams has won 214 games, and he always finds a way to be competitive. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this playback as we're about to begin the kickoff, and we'll bring that to you just right after this special message from one of our sponsors. We'll be back in a moment.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bringing the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is true blue.
Well, there you see some of the Springdale cheerleaders on the sideline as we are waiting to kick off right now, having the national anthem. Jenks, Oklahoma, just across the river from Tulsa, a very, very impressive football stadium. In fact, I just have to tell you, if we can get a shot in the moment of the press box, I have decided all Springdale games need to be right here. This is a fabulous press box. Of course, I'm just kidding. The drive, we want to make that every week. Well, we hope you are enjoying this playback every Tuesday and Thursday night. We're going to be bringing you Springdale Bulldog football. This is our 8th season to be providing this exclusive playback coverage. And tonight the Bulldogs, as we've mentioned at the opening, have quite a task ahead of them, as the Jenks Trojans have always been a very, very dominant football program in the state of Oklahoma. The last few years, with the growth of this community, they have advanced into the largest class of Oklahoma athletics. And last year, of course, as we mentioned, they won the state championship of the 6A. So the Bulldogs set to begin. Corey Wagner, number 36, is the kicker for the Bulldogs. The ball is teed up at the 40-yard line, and we're set to begin. A pretty good contingent of Springdale Bulldog fans on hand across the way, and the Jenks stands are packed. So here we go, the start of the 1994 season. Corey Wagner gets a great kickoff. It goes and taken at the 5-yard line. He's up to about the 20, and he's going to be brought down at about the 25-yard line. In fact, that's exactly where they're going to spot it. Several Bulldogs in on the tackle at that point. Number 61, one of the key men, Ray West.
Number 61, Ray West.
All right, so Jenks, who had quite an offensive night last Friday night was set up again. One of the keys to watch here is number 20, Richard Kalmus, set in the backfield, 6 foot, 175-pound senior, had 1,300 yards last year. Presley, the quarterback, sets up, throws quick little out pass to the wide receiver, Carson, and Carson makes the catch and looks to gain about, they're going to mark him just over the 30-yard line, so it was set up really about a 2nd and 4 situation. Presley, the quarterback for Jenks last week, was 10 of 13 with 158 yards. He did have 1 touchdown pass, a 30-yard touchdown to Beard. Only man deep is Richie Kalmus. Long snap count. He hands off to Kalmus. He's trying the left side of the line. He breaks through some tackles and makes the initial first down of the night. So Jenks, with a 7-yard gain there by Richie Kalmus, gets an initial first down. Springdale defense will try to set that up for you at nose guard 68, Brian Smith-Peters. Joe Dean Davenport, 86, is the tackle, along with Harold Simmons. Corey Wagner is one of the other defensive ends, along with Dustin Douglas. And we'll see what these young men can do on 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line, 38-yard line. Wide open is the running back there for Jenks. They're trying to get a number on him and a name. That's Jake Crisp, who the coaches say is probably one of the best athletes on this team. Jenks gets another first down on that pass play, moves into Springdale territory, and early in this game, they're already beginning to mount a drive of some sorts. There is a penalty, and so Springdale's going to be saved at that point. That's the first penalty of the game. It's a clipping call against Jenks, and so that's going to back them back up. Presley rolled out to his left, turned back around, and found Crisp in the open, out in the flats, but all for naught, as it's going to be wiped out, at least the long game, but it will be a first down. Still, from the 36-yard line, 10:30 is the count. Man in motion. Fumbled the snap count, and it looks like Springdale may have recovered, and indeed they have. We're not sure yet who's recovered the ball, but Springdale gets the first opening break in this game as they take the first turnover, and that's exactly what you want to do in a situation like this, where obviously you'd have to say, in all honesty, that the Bulldogs are the underdog in this game. Now let me set up the offense for you. There at center is Rick Hammonds, the sophomore, number 58. Right guard is Mark Blackwell. The right tackle is Lloyd Meeks. The right guard is Clint Penalto, and the right tackle is Jonathan Lewis. Jason Price is the split end. Jim Ed Reed is the quarterback. Kirby Burks and Josh Trollinger in the backfield. Jason Wolf goes in motion. Jim Ed Reed rolls around on a blind option there, gets down to just inside the 30-yard line. So a good run there by Jim Ed Reed. We quickly went through that. This is a young Springdale football team. There are 2 sophomores starting tonight, Rick Hammonds and Lloyd Meeks. Jim Ed Reed, a junior, Kirby Burks, a junior, Josh Trollinger giving the senior leadership there in the backfield at fullback, number 45. So Jim Ed brings them up to the line, a 2nd down and about 3. Wolf again in motion, hands off inside to Trollinger. He's got the first down, and Springdale makes its first down of the year on a good inside run by Josh Trollinger, number 45. He's a 5'10", 195-pound senior. And there you see Josh back in the huddle, and the Jenks defense set up there. Now, some of the keys to be watching tonight is Jerry Wisney for the Trojans, number 71, 6'7", 282. And he's going to be a hoss to take care of. Wolf back in motion again. Reed comes down the line. Tux keeps the ball up. He's wide open. He's going to go into the end zone for a touchdown. Springdale Bulldogs at 9:08 into the first quarter. A 23-yard touchdown run by Jim Ed Reed. And the Jenks crowd is stunned. Jim Ed Reed, he had Wolf behind him as the pitch man, but he just cut it back up inside. When he turned the corner, there was no one out into that open field, and he walked untouched into the end zone. So the Bulldogs will try the PAT with Corey Wagner, attempting to put it through. 6-0 so far for the Bulldogs, and this Jenks crowd is shocked, to say the least. A little high snap, the ball's down. Looks good, it is. And so it's 7-0 with 9:08, and we'll be back after this special message.
What is pizza integrity?
Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert.
That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza In.
Bogey, this guy can fly. Okay, bang. We got him on the Roz. He's trying to target us. Jam him. Okay, he fired. So did we. He's pulling a 7G turn out of here.
Space technology of the 21st century. It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
Bulldogs have begun 1994 with quite a bang. Just as it looked like Jenks was going to methodically run down the field, they fumbled the football. Springdale recovered, and it looked as if Harold Simmons recovered that fumble. And then Springdale quickly made a 1st and 10, and then Jim Ed Reed 23 yards, and the Bulldogs are up 7-0 after Corey Wagner made the PAT. He's set to kick it off again for the 2nd time. Got a good kickoff the first time. This one a little bit shorter, but to the 10-yard line. Good blocking up front, but a good tackle being made there by number 33, Sean Friesen. But Jenks is going to have fair field position just over the 30-yard line as we're going to move under 9 minutes at this with this snap. Now, hoping in a little bit maybe we can get a shot of the scoreboard, because you see a little bit of the tradition of the Jenks Trojans. Their state champion signs there, 1979, 1982, 1983. There you've got a shot of that. And then soccer. Well, they've got a great soccer program here too. All right, here we're set with 1st and 10. Presley hands off to Kalmus. He breaks one tackle, and then a host of Springdale Bulldogs ride him down. Good yardage by Kalmus. He's going to pick up about 4 to 5 yards on that 1st down play. A good crowd on hand here tonight at Jenks Stadium. The stands are packed. A good contingent of Bulldogs. Maybe we get a shot here in a second after this play, show you the fans that made the trip to Springdale. 8-14, Presley, the quarterback, sets up. Again, Kalmus, the only deep back in the backfield. Long count. Hands off inside to Kalmus. He breaks through the line. And if it had not been for Jason Price, he might have gone all the way. So another 1st down for the Jenks Trojans. Kalmus gets the ball into Springdale territory. Now, initially, Jenks had driven inside Springdale territory, but it was wiped away with a penalty. And so once again, they're moving the football. Presley. Again, long count. Hands off again to Kalmus, and he is just smothered there by Brian Smith-Peters. And he's going to be just marked back to the line of scrimmage. So good defensive play there. One of the keys we've talked about tonight is the play of the tackles. Of course, you see, and you're watching that huge number 71, Jerry Wisney from the Jenks Trojans, but Springdale has its own huge lineman, Joe Davenport, number 86 there on defense. It's interesting that they're not matched up. And so that time, what really needs to be the kudos there is the fact that Smith-Peters beat off what would be the strength of the Jenks line. A little bit of a mix-up in the Springdale defense there. That's the reason for the timeout. So we have a 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Presley comes up again underneath center. Drops back for a pass. It's going to be a quick little short pass to the wideout. He gets by a couple of Bulldogs and lunges forward into the 35-yard line. That was a good play. Ananias Carson, 5'7", 140. Springdale had given him plenty of room, and Presley just raised up and popped him out there in the flat. And from the rest, he just made it on his own. So 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 35-yard line. Presley takes the snap, fakes a handoff to Kalmus, rolls out to his left, has a man wide open. He hits him down inside the 20-yard line. The tight end, Ryan Dykus, 6'4", 205, was wide open. They faked that time to Kalmus, and that sort of froze the defense and let the tight end open. And Presley, very impressive quarterback as they go on a quick count here, no huddle. Presley hands off to Kalmus, and he gets wrapped up and tackled. Number 68, Brian Smith-Peters, early in this game, asserting himself, makes a good tackle as he gets added help in there by several Bulldogs. Gain of about 1 yard. It'll bring up second down and about a long 8. There you see a shot of the Springdale Bulldogs as they dig in, try to stop this drive that has been initiated by the Trojans of Jenks. Inside handoff. Kalmus just is deceptive in that he doesn't really look like that good of a back. He doesn't seem to have any great speed or size, but he just goes to the line of scrimmage and waits for a hole to open up and ends up making about 6 yards on that carry. It's third down, 2 yards to go. The ball is on the 12-yard line of the Springdale Bulldogs. They set up in the I formation, and they set the man in motion. That should be motion. There's going to be a penalty. They set the fullback in motion, and it looked like the tight end just sort of picked his foot up a little bit, and so Jenks will be faced with their second penalty of the night. Yeah, we get the official call from the official. There it is, legal procedure. That's a 5-yard penalty, and so instead of 3rd and 2, that one could really hurt them. It's 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8, ball on now about the 17-yard line. Brian Presley, the junior, under center, drops back, straight drop back, hands off. That time in the backfield was Ananias Carson. A little draw play there, but it failed, and it looks as if Jenks is going to attempt a field goal at this point. The ball is just inside the 20-yard line, so officially it would be a 29-yard field goal. And I've yet to see the young man who's setting up to attempt this. Presley, number 82, John Wigginter. It looks good, and it is. So with 4:44, Jenks gets on the board with a 29-yard field goal. We'll be back after this message.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
This guy can fly.
Space technology of the 21st century. It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
Well, welcome back. The score there, we've had a little bit of trouble with our graphics. We'll get that straightened out. The score is 7-3 with 4:44 left in the first quarter. Springdale was able to hold the Jenks Trojans. One of the things that helped was a penalty. Now we have some kind of timeout. Not really sure at this point just exactly what the problem is. Some discussion along the Jenks sideline as to just what exactly we're going to do. There's some of the players. We get a chance to this break, if we could. Let's see some of the Springdale folks who made this trip over there. Here you see the deep receivers for the Springdale Bulldogs. Jason Wolf there. There's the kicking teams coming back. You see a little bit of the crowd, a good crowd on hand. The Bulldogs always have good following. Last Monday night went to a JV game in Bentonville. And Bentonville had about 20 kids. Springdale suited out about 67. There are about 20 adults for Bentonville, probably about 100 Springdale Bulldog fans there. And so Springdale as well has quite a following. Well, no indication as what the delay was. Not really certain about that. But for whatever reason, now we're set to kick off. And here's the kickoff. It's a good high kickoff, and it's going to drive Wolf into the end zone. Of course, that's an automatic touchback. And the Bulldogs will set up with a 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. Incredible kick there by the Jenks kicker. You don't often see that in high school football, the ball going into the end zone. Let me set for you again the Springdale offense. Rick Hammonds is the center, Clint Penzo, one guard, Mark Blackwell the other. Lloyd Meeks at right tackle along with Jonathan Lewis. Jason Price is the split end. Joe Davenport's the tight end. Jim Ed Reed is the quarterback. Kirby Burks the halfback. Josh Trollinger the fullback. And Jason Wolf is the wingback. There's a handoff inside. Good running room. Josh Trollinger bangs his way out across the 25-yard line. Good blocking up front by the Bulldogs. Second down, 5 yards to go. Into the game comes Tim Williams. Tim Williams starts on defense, also plays quarterback, has had some knee problems that has been nagging him, and so Jim Ed Reed has the start tonight. Looks it over, takes the snap, fakes a handoff inside, wanted to go outside to Burks, and he's smothered for a loss. And the Jenks Trojans really defense that one well. So Springdale's going to take a loss on that play. They faked a handoff inside and sent Burks to the outside, but it didn't fool the Jenks Trojans. And so we're looking at a 3rd and 7. Good evening for football here in Jenks, America. Jim Ed Reed at the helm, drops back for his first pass, gets a little bit of a rush, throws the ball, and it's complete. It's going to be short for the first down. There is a penalty on the play. The ball was completed, I believe, to Wolf, but he would be about a long 3 yards short of the first down. Here's the indication from the referee. It's holding against Springdale, and you would think that Jenks would be declining this penalty. No indication yet from, and the coaches are saying they want to decline it. So it's going to be a 4th down with this penalty being declined. Springdale would be short. In fact, they actually marked it back even further. Springdale would be short quite a bit. Good 6 yards, and so it should bring up a punting situation. Corey Wagner is also the punter for the Bulldogs. This will be their first punt of the evening. Again, some conferring going on, not sure exactly what the situation is. Well, now they've changed it to holding Jenks, and so that gives Springdale a 1st and 10 at the 3:28 mark. And that's a big, big turnaround. At one point, I'm getting ready to tell you about who's going to be punting for Springdale, and now we're back in business. Coming wide for Springdale, Clay Galloway. Burks in motion, Trollinger up inside, and he's going to make about 3 yards and get up to close to the 40-yard line.
Stop by number 35, Chip Hammond.
Feels in excellent condition here. It's really a beautiful stadium. The grass is well cut, and just as a delightful stadium to play in. Hopefully it'll be a delightful experience all the way around for the Bulldogs. 2nd and 8. Wolf in motion. Jim Ed Reed comes down. He's going to pitch to Wolf. He beats this man, and he doesn't. He fumbled, but the referees had already blown the whistle dead. The fans kind of react to that. Gets inside the 40-yard line. Just really wasn't anything there. Well defense by the Trojans. And so it's going to bring up a 3rd down situation. And there is a timeout by the officials. And they're looking over one of the young men. Here we go, back into action. Springdale breaks the huddle. Different setup for the Springdale Bulldogs. One set back. Josh Trollinger, Jim Ed Reed. Reed drops back, rolls to his right, has a man, Wolf. He has a 1st down into Trojan territories, out of bounds. They're going to mark him at about the 46-yard line. So a good rollout by Reed. He found Wolf in the open. Wolf caught the ball and ran for another 4 or 5 yards before he was driven out of bounds. And so Springdale putting together a drive here, looking good offensively. So far in this game, Jerry Wisney, who is supposed to be the All-American, really hasn't made himself that much of a factor as yet. There's a play that if you're a Springdale Bulldog fan, you've seen over and over and over again. A good run down deep into Jenks territory. They're going to mark him at about the 23-yard line. Jason Wolf, how many times have you seen that little inside reverse that Springdale is infamous for? Well, obviously, Jenks hasn't seen it very much because that was a great play by the Bulldogs. And again, the Bulldogs are threatening as we approach the 2-minute mark left in the first quarter. Really, both teams showing some offense. And we're going to have a timeout by the Jenks Trojans. And with that, we're going to take timeout. We'll be back after this message.
Jesus is the creator.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the King of Kings.
Jesus is the hope of all nations.
Jesus is a true friend.
Jesus is the rock of my salvation.
Jesus is the Son of God.
Well, welcome back. We want to thank you for watching this exclusive playback. Bulldog football. Our sponsors this year, Lehman's, Worthen Bank, Pizza Inn, and First National Bank. And I want to tell you something, we've got holes for people to help sponsor this. This is not a cheap proposition for us. Nobody makes a dime here. And this endeavor, about all we get every once in a while is a free Coke. And that's about it. So if you or your business would like to help bring Bulldog football replays, a reality again for the Springdale residents, please help us. Give us a call. The number of our office is 751-9226. We hope to also be bringing you the marching band. They're not here with us tonight, but hopefully next week we'll be able to show you them at halftime. All right, ball's on the 23-yard line with a 1st and 10. Burks goes in motion. Reed comes down the line, cuts back inside, and does an excellent job of breaking the tackle. He got wrapped up there by a couple of Trojans, but nonetheless fell forward for a respectable gain of about 4 yards. So it looks to be about a 2nd and 6 situation as he moves to the 18-yard line of the Bulldogs. So that'd be about 2nd and 5, a little bit long. 4 is what it's looking at. The Springdale Bulldogs, I think perhaps may have surprised the Jenks Trojans coming in here tonight. They're giving these young men all they want. Burks takes the handoff, cuts back. Oh, if he could have kept his feet, he may have scored. As it is, he's down just outside the 10-yard line, and that's going to give Springdale a 1st and 10. That's Kirby Burks, not Bucks. We'll have to check that and change that on the CG. There's Kirby. A good shot of him in the huddle. Again, number 10. Clay Galloway has checked in, and he's coming out wide. Burks and Trollinger in the backfield. Now, the Bulldogs could conceivably make another 1st down before going in. Reed rolls out, passes to Trollinger. He slips down, or just by the mere fact that that man is hard to bring down, he could have very well punched that into the end zone. Good completion by Reed, as he's done a good job rolling out. He's going to mark the ball right at the 5-yard line, and so it's going to be a 2nd and 5 situation. Again, the Bulldogs, it appears, can make a 1st down, but they have to be just about an inch or two from the end zone. The Bulldogs break for what is probably going to be the last play of the first quarter, as we're marking down to about 15 seconds and counting. Reed looks over the situation. Well, those are the mistakes that you often make early in the season. That one we hope won't cost us, but Springdale is going to have to back up 5 yards and attempt to do it again. And sometimes penalties right there can really put a final nail in the coffin in terms of trying to get into the end zone. 2nd down and 10 instead of 2nd and 5. That's a big mistake. The first penalty that the Bulldogs make tonight, and it was a big one. The Bulldogs will try again with Burks and Trojan and Reed in the backfield. Reed fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. He's getting some pressure. He gets by that man, still rolling out, tucks the ball down, and gets down to about the 6-yard line before he is smothered by a group of Trojans.
Brought down by 40,
That's going to end the first quarter, and with that, we're going to take a break. The score 7-3. The Springdale Bulldogs will be back after these messages.
Jesus is the light of the world.
Jesus is the mighty God.
Jesus Christ is the true Messiah.
Jesus is the first and the last.
Jesus is the refining fire.
Jesus is the master.
Jesus is my Savior.
Well, welcome back. There you see the Springdale Bulldogs as they're huddled up on the sideline, getting some water, heading back out. The offense that has looked, for the most part, very, very good tonight. As yet, the Trojans have not stopped them. Now the Trojans have hurt themselves with some penalties, but Springdale itself has been hurt here as they were down to the 5-yard line and got a penalty. And so the Jenks Trojans trailing 7-3. This is the first time all year they've trailed. It's only their second game, but this is a program that's not used to being behind. 7-3 as we begin, and the situation is that it's a 3rd down and about a long 5 to go. The Bulldogs can make a 1st down without going into the end zone. It'll be interesting to see just exactly what they'll do here. Bryant Chastain is also in, and he's split out at the wingback position. Trojan in the backfield. Chastain comes in motion. Reed takes the snap, rolls to his left. He's got incredible pressure. The ball is caught, and he walks in for a touchdown. Joe Davenport, and who never said that football is not a game of inches, because that was inches away from being intercepted. And if the D-back would have, or actually it probably was the linebacker, if he would have intercepted that, no one would have come near him. And so a 6-yard TD pass from Reed to Davenport, and the Bulldogs are up incredibly 13-3. Wagner sets up for the PAT. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it's a good kick, and it's 14-3. And with that, we'll be back after this message.
Some of America's most priceless treasures are not found in concrete and steel or on the side of a mountain, but in the faces of our children. In today's world, they need a firm moral and spiritual foundation more than ever.
Well, if you were here when this game was being played, you'll remember that at this point the Jenks stands erupted as they tried desperately to get their football team going. They rise to their feet, and we'll see if it'll do them any good at all. The Bulldog fans, they reply because they want to keep this team fired up. 14-3 with 11:54. The Bulldogs have just went 80 yards to answer a field goal that Jenks had made earlier in the game. A little bit of a mix-up there, but back we are. Wagner gets set. And there's the kickoff. It's going to be a short kickoff, taken at about the 11-yard line. He runs straight up the middle, and he is brought down by number 68, Brian Smith-Peters. Gets to about the 29-yard line. The nose is going to be right at the 30-yard line, so the Trojans are going to be setting up once again. Jenks breaks the huddle, comes to the line of scrimmage. Same setup, one lone running back, Kalmus in the backfield. Presley, long count. A blind rollout, he gets loose, he's got plenty of running room, he's going to make a first down and be driven hard out of bounds by number 24 for the Bulldogs. That is Chastain, Bryant Chastain. Well, he's not going to make a first down. It's going to be 2nd down and 2. 2nd down and 2. I thought he had a first down there. Very well could have been a huge loss, but it shows you a little bit of the athletic ability of Presley. Some of the fans from Jenks kind of booing that he was ridden hard out of bounds, but the stands here, the sidelines, very, very close to the stands. They send a man in motion. He cuts back. He breaks the tackle. He's got one man to beat. Price, he drives him out of bounds. And they drive deep into Springdale territory. And that's going to give them a 1st and 10. Well, that's the thing that we expected all along from the Jenks Trojans, and the Springdale Bulldogs have been able to shut that down, but even then it appeared that it was a busted play of some sort. At least he cut back across the grain, and that fooled the Springdale Bulldogs. And we get a little bit of added additional yardage, personal foul. And so that sets the ball up at about the 22-yard line. All right, Presley trying to make something happen for the Bulldogs. Checking off, it appears. Takes the snap, hands off inside to Kalmus. And I tell you what, he is not an impressive-looking tailback, but he just seemingly is hard to bring down. Makes some good yardage out of what appeared to be really nothing on the play. And so as we move under 11 minutes in the half, the Jenks Trojans move inside the 20-yard line. The ball's on the 17-yard line. It's 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Springdale trying to dig in. There's a handoff. It's again a fake, and he rolls out. He's got pressure. He also has a man wide in the open. There's going to be an interference called, and it was really an unnecessary interference as the ball was sailing way over the receiver's head. Had no chance to make it, but it's going to be the call that's going to really hurt Springdale. The officials talking it over. Pass interference against the Bulldogs is the call. And that's going to give Jenks a 1st down situation. And the Jenks players trying to get the fans fired up and cheered up. This could be a pivotal drive here. And you got to hand it to the Trojans, because it could have been very easy for them to just sort of fold up. This is the mark of a championship team. There you see some of the fans. The mark of a championship team is that they never stay down once the team gets them down. And so 1st and goal is the situation. The ball's at the 8-yard line. The Trojans set up. And I tell you what, Presley is a very impressive quarterback. Inside handoff this time to Kalmus. Last time they faked that, and he took it and rolled out. This time he handed off to Kalmus, who punched it up inside for about 4 yards. 2nd down and 4 for the Trojans. Here you see the Springdale defensive up front men: Brian Smith-Peters, Harold Simmons, Joe Davenport, Dustin Douglas, and Corey Wagner. 2nd down, 4 yards to go. He hands off to Kalmus. He gets met at the line. They don't wrap him up, and into the end zone he goes for the touchdown. Well, at 9:58, Jenks gets back on the board again. Kalmus on a 4-yard TD that really should never have happened. And I tell you what, there's probably going to be some Bulldogs, when they watch the film, they're going to hear the defensive coaches talk about you don't have him until you have him on the ground. Good line penetration then by the defensive line. They just could not bring him down. It appears that Jenks may be going for two. We've got an official timeout here for some reason. Well, it's a Springdale timeout. And with that, we'll take timeout and we'll be back in a moment.
A baby cries and mama rocks away the harm.
Every day, abortion denies 4,000 tiny unborn babies the right to live, the right to be loved, the right to take that first big step. 4,000 abortions a day, 1,500,000 abortions a year is a lot of love denied.
Well, there you see the reason of the timeout, Josh Trollinger. And the Bulldogs sure don't want to lose anyone to injury tonight. Not sure exactly what might be wrong with Josh, just looking at him there, whether maybe he just has a Charlie or if it's a knee problem. You see Trollinger as he is being led off the field. It appears that Jenks is going to set up for the two-point conversion. 14-9 is the score, and the advantage there, of course, it'd be 14-11, and 3 points would tie it up. There you see Coach Williams and the Springdale sideline. Tell you what, very impressive drive by the Jenks Trojans. Of course, helped out by a couple of Springdale penalties on this play and some poor tackling, but nonetheless, a championship team makes those things happen. So here we go. Presley rolls out. He's going to get pressure, but he eludes the pressure, dumps it into the end of the end zone, and it's caught for a two-point conversion. Didn't see who made it, but Presley, 88, made the catch there for the Trojans, and that is Ben Owens. So Owens, we'll keep it here during this break. Owens, a 2-yard, two-point conversion pass from Presley, and that makes the score 14-11. The Bulldogs still lead it, and we'll set up, and Springdale will be able to receive this kickoff. Now, I don't know what the coaches expected going into this game, but every person that I talked to and all the writers that I read, no one talked about an offensive game. Yet, in this game, no one has punted as of yet. We're at 9:58 left in the quarter, and I'm glad that you're with us here for this replay. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7 o'clock we'll be bringing you these games, and we appreciate you being a part of this and our sponsors. Elmdale Baptist Church, Lehman's, Worthen Bank, Pizza Inn, and First National Bank. For this is our 8th season. Here we go. We're set for the kickoff. He gets a high, deep kickoff. It's going to be taken at the 1-yard line. Fumble comes right back up into his hand. He gets a block, gets smothered down. We've got a penalty. And usually when the flags fly on a kickoff, it means bad things for the receiving team. We'll see just exactly what is going to be called here. Here's the official coming to make the preliminary call. That's the old clipping call. That's always fun for a coach to see. How many times on a kickoff in high school football have you seen a penalty flag and it be clipping? Probably about 9 times out of 10. So the Bulldogs, really in a hole right now, are going to be setting up at about what looks to be the 7-yard line with a 1st and 10. Jenks, after that score by the Bulldogs, came charging back down the field, and we'll see if Springdale is able to answer with a drive of their own. Reed comes out, takes the snap, fakes a handoff inside, tries to come around the end, and he's smothered down, and he may have gained a yard. You're going to mark it for a no gain. Moving now inside 9 minutes to play. The situation 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Jim Ed Reed still the quarterback. Burks in the backfield goes in motion Reed's going to drop back. He's going to get some pressure. Drops it off to Burke. Burke gets smothered and may get back to the 5-yard line. So he's going to take a loss on the play. Just a host of Trojans smothering him there. And so the Springdale Bulldogs could be really putting themselves in a difficult situation. Reed got that pass off just in time as he was getting pressure from the backside. And you had to know that defensive lineman breathing down his neck must have thought, man, this is my chance. A little bit confusing here because there are no 25-second clocks, and that's kind of curious in a stadium that is just so well manicured and well kept. Pretty much everywhere you go in Arkansas, they're 25-second clocks, so quarterback's sort of blind at this point. We may see some delay of game penalties before this one's over. There's an inside handoff. He pulls it out of the man. He cuts back up. Is going to be short of the 1st and 10. He's going to get back to about the 15-yard line, but it's going to bring up the first punting situation of the game for either team as the Bulldogs are going to send Corey Wagner out, and he's going to be punting. There's some shots of the Springdale Bulldogs who made the trip across the state line. A lot easier drive these days than it used to be, and will probably be even better. All right, Wagner's going to set up right at his goal line, and so we'll see what he's able to do. Deep back for the Trojans is number 3, Carson, and he has dangerous speed. Good snap. And a pretty good kick going end over end. Going to be taken at the 49-yard line of Springdale. Good divot to prove it. He cuts loose, jukes around, and is finally pulled down with a good tackle by number 36 of the Bulldog, Corey Wagner, who was the punter. So a good play there by Corey Wagner, but Jenks has very, very good field position with plenty of time, 7:04. And again, the Jenks fans rise to their feet to try to encourage these Trojans on. They're not going to encourage us. Ball's at about the 38-yard line. 37 is where it's officially marked at. This is going to be a big, big series to see if Springdale can somehow figure out a way to stop the Trojans. Straight drop back pass. Davenport gives some pressure, but he finds a man wide open, jukes around them, and is tackled by a host of Bulldogs, but not before it appears that he has made the first down. So Jenks comes out firing. Presley dropped back, got a little bit of pressure, but found an open man and just fired it right into him. Number 81, Trey Damon. D-A-M-A-N. All right, here we go. One single set back. Kalmus again is that back. He takes a snap, hands off to him deep. Good, boy. I started to say good coverage by the Bulldogs, and 3 men get up who had a chance at him and let him go. And he is able to lean forward and make a couple of yards. He should have been stopped for even more than that. It's going to bring up a 2nd down situation. You've got to be impressed with Richie Kalmus and Brian Presley. They're the heart and soul of this offense, both heady young men. Richie Kalmus just doesn't look like he'd be that kind of a running back, but he just keeps plugging away. So 2nd down, they're going to call it 9. The Bulldogs need to stop the Trojans right now. Kalmus cuts back. Again, not being brought down, finally is being brought down. It's going to be a 3rd down situation and what appears to be about 2 or 3 yards for the 1st down. Kalmus again just made good progress, good hole made by the lineman, and we may tell who is the better conditioned team here very quickly. Quick setup in the huddle call's been made. The play's been made. 3rd down and 2. Presley hands off Kalmus. Big hole inside. Gets down inside to the 5-yard line, and so it's going to be a 1st and goal for the Jenks Trojans. The Bulldogs having a hard time bringing that young man down. If Jenks goes ahead, I think you're going to begin to hear this place really begin to roar, because so far tonight, these Trojans have been shocked at what's happened to the number 1 ranked team in the state of Oklahoma. Presley pitches out to Kalmus. He heads straight up into the end zone. Well, at 4:45 into the 2nd quarter, a 6-yard TD run by Kalmus puts Jenks ahead 17-14. And I tell you who made that play. The Jenks offensive line just drove back the defenders. And the PAT will be attempted at this point by number 82, John Wingertner. Kick is up and it's good. And with 4:45 left, the score is 18-14. Jenks Trojans. Will be back in a moment.
We have a serious drunk driving problem in Arkansas. In our state last year, over 300 of our friends were killed in alcohol-related crashes. Please don't drink and drive. If you cannot stop drinking and driving on your own, we're here to help.
It's getting hot for drunk drivers in northwest Arkansas.
When you decide to get on with your life, the best way to go is head on. In the Army National Guard, you'll be challenged like never before, and you'll be the best, able to tackle anything that comes your way, which benefits you, your country, and your community. The Army National Guard, Americans at their best.
Well, there you see the scoreboard and our scoreboard. Jenks finally comes ahead 18-14. The Bulldogs behind the first time in this game. We'll see how they respond. Jenks Bulldogs came back fired up after the Springdale Bulldogs scored the second touchdown and made it 14-3. We've got a timeout on the field. No question, no apparent reason for it. Don't know exactly what the situation is. We'll keep it there or here. There you see Coach Williams, a shot of the Jenks Bulldogs. Jenks Trojans. We'll get it straight. Hey, it's my first game of the year too. Everybody makes mistakes. Bulldogs have looked very good tonight, except for a few mistakes. On offense, they've only been stopped once. And so they'll get another situation, another chance. One of the big things that you've got to wonder about at this point is what effect that huge Jenks offense is having, because you're talking about guys weighing in 214, 246, 228, 282. The lightest man on Jenks' line is 186. What kind of effect are they having on the defense? Again, another high, deep kick. It's taken at the 1 yard line by the Bulldogs. He comes to his left, tries to leap over a man, and that delights people here, but really wasn't that good of a tackle. It's just a good effort by the Bulldogs. They're going to set up with not too bad of a field position, but about the 22-yard line. Jenks probably has, in my estimation, one of the best high school kickers that I've ever seen. He's kicked the ball once into the end zone, and every kickoff has been inside the 5-yard line. So the Bulldogs need to put something together here, drive down the field, kill the clock, and put some points on the score, and hopefully get a touchdown where they can lead once again. Jim Ed Reed hands off. Good running play. Brian Chastain is the running back, and he looks to have made about 5 yards or so on that gain. Chastain at the wingback position. No indication if Wolf may be hurt or they're alternating. Williams in now for the Bulldogs. 2nd down 6 is going to be the mark. Williams comes split wide. Chastain still in. Ball's on the 26-yard line, 3:45 and counting. Burke's in motion. Hands off to the up man. No indication yet who he is. We'll try to get a look at it. Maybe Sean Friesen. That's Sean Friesen is in. No indication yet as to the condition of Josh Trollinger, who left with an injury. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. This is a big, big 3rd down for the Springdale Bulldogs, because even if they don't score in this drive, they need to make a 1st down and put the ball deeper into Jenks' own territory. So we'll see what the Bulldogs are able to do here. Burke's the one lone setback. Reed rolls out. Good blocking. Has a man wide open, but underthrows him and throws it out of bounds. So the Bulldogs will be faced with a 4th down situation. And on that play, probably the first time that Jerry Wisney has really made his presence felt in any way, but the Bulldogs covered him up well with a good double team. Burks picked him up finally. And you gotta wonder if maybe Jim Ed should have just tucked that ball up and ran with it if he'd made the 1st and 10. So Carson deep for the Jenks Trojans. Corey Wagner sets up to punt. And Carson made a great run last time for Jenks. This is the second punt of the ball game. Good punt by Wagner. Good high punt. Drives him back. He fumbles the ball and falls on it at what is going to be marked just across the 30-yard line. The Trojans have 2:48 left in the game. I'm not sure on the timeout situation. I know they've used at least one of their timeouts, and that could be a factor for them. As they set up, comes in the rest of their offensive line. And again, as we've talked about, that has to be one of the keys in this ball game, is the play of their offensive line against our defense. In for Trollinger on defense is Ray West, number 61. So West and Weber are the linebackers. Straight drop back. He gets hit right as he throws the ball, and it's incomplete. Brian Smith-Peters hit Presley right as he was releasing the ball. And I tell you what, Brian Smith-Peters has made some great plays early in this game, and he makes another one there. So it's a second down, 10 yards, 2:29 left in the half for the Bulldogs. Trojans break the line of scrimmage. Kalmus, who was shaken up at that touchdown run earlier, back in the game. A little bit of a mix-up for the Trojans. They send another man wide. We're going to have a timeout. With that timeout, we'll take timeout. We'll be back after these messages.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Now we're back, and you see the score, 18-14. Springdale trails. 2:29 left in the half. The ball's on the 30-yard line. It's a second down, 10 situation for the Bulldogs. Handoff inside. Kalmus was pulled out of the game. There's going to be a long run made by Carson. Price, one of the ones who brings him down, but he's going to get to the 49-yard line. It's going to be a first down for the Jenks Trojans. So Jenks trying to put some more points on the scoreboard before halftime. The Trojans made a mistake early in the game, looked a little sluggish. Springdale capitalized on that, but since that point, they've played almost a flawless game. Kalmus now sets up close. Carson in the backfield. He hands off to him. He punches it back outside. A good tackle. Number 63, Dustin Douglas for the Springdale Bulldogs makes that tackle. So he drops him for a loss of 1 yard. The clock is running as we go under 2 minutes now. Presley gets the signals from the coaching staff along the sideline. Second down, about 11 yards to go. He drops back, straight drop back, has a man open but overthrows him as two defenders collide with one another as they were trying to cover Carson coming out of the backfield. Carson's an elusive setback, very versatile. They've used him at tailback, a split receiver. He's their kick returner, their punt returner. That's going to bring up a third down, 12-yard situation, and it's 1:38 on the clock. Kalmus back set deep for the Trojans and what would look to be a passing down. A blitz by the Bulldogs. Butch Walker makes an incredible sack. Fourth down, it appears that the Trojans are going to go for it. The Bulldogs need to get back, get set up. And Jenks thinks better of it. And the Bulldogs, for the first time tonight, have forced the punt. To both of these teams' credit, this is only the third punt of the evening. Well, welcome back to our coverage of the Springdale Bulldogs as they travel to Jenks, Oklahoma for the season opener. An exciting first half, quite a surprise as the Springdale Bulldogs went up 7-0 on a Jim Ed Reed 23-yard touchdown run. Jenks answered back with a field goal, 29-yard field goal, and then Springdale marched right back down the field. Reed threw a touchdown pass to Davenport as he literally walked into the end zone. Jenks came right back, scored on a 4-yard touchdown run by Calmus, went for the PAT, a 2-point conversion, and made it, and then drove the length of the field with 4:45 left in the game, went ahead 18-14, and that's where we stand with this kickoff. A short kickoff, and it's going to be taken at the 10-yard line by the Bulldogs. Good running room as he breaks across into the 26-yard line. That was number 14, Chris Johnson, a halfback senior for the Bulldogs, and so Springdale will set up on the initial possession of the second half, trailing by 4 points. And a lot of people, as I talked to people in the stands, very surprised at the good showing the Springdale Bulldogs put up. They owned the first quarter, but made some mental errors in the second quarter, a couple of key penalty mistakes against them, and allowed the Jenks Trojans to amass a small lead here. Here's the handoff, initial series, good running room inside by Sean Friesen. He gets up to about the 32-yard line. Good hole opened up there by the Springdale offensive line. One of the things we talked about in this game early in the season still is going to be how much conditioning is going to play as a factor in the stamina of these young men. Jenks Trojans offensive line really asserted themselves late in the first half, and we'll see if Springdale can regain the dominance. Burks moves in motion. Reed comes down the line. He's got a wide open run room, tries to stretch it out to the outside, is close to first down territory, tries to lean forward, but they're going to mark him just about a yard shy of the 1st and 10. Good play there by Reed as he had the trailing back behind him and simply turned it around the corner and gets close to first down yardage at about the 37-yard line. Quite an offensive showing for high school football in the first half as Jenks punted once, Springdale punted only 2 times. Jenks turned the ball over 1 time, and those were the only times that they were able to stop one another in that first half. So 3rd and 1, big 1-yard gain here needed by Springdale. Reed just dives forward, should have the mark. They drive him back. The officials got the mark on the sideline. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. It's good for the crowd, for the show, to get them excited. But it counts for the Bulldogs as a 1st and 10. And they're going to move the chains. And the crowd's diverted a little bit by footballs being thrown into the stands. A annual Friday night pastime. The Jenks Trojans went into the locker room feeling a little bit better about themselves. There's sort of a stunned feeling here as they went down initially 7-0. And now Springdale trying to move the length of the field to get the lead back. Hand off to Burks. He cuts back up inside. Good running room. Gets stuck at about the 40-yard line, just over it. But he's going to make about 3 yards on the play. The Springdale offensive line's doing a good job tonight against what was a highly touted defensive front by the Jenks Trojans. They have some hosses up there up front. One man, Ken Hill, weighs 315 pounds. How'd you like that assignment? But the Bulldogs are quieting themselves very well. They face a 2nd down and 7 yard to go as Reed, again the quarterback, a blitz play, and I think they're going to have an offsides there. He tried to time that. That was Jake Crisp for the Trojans, but he just didn't get it right, and I think we may have another penalty on top of that. And we're going to have, I think, some trash talk going on. No indication yet is exactly who that one is on, but after the penalty, another flag went up into the air. Well, that's the initial call on sportsmanlike conduct. It was an offsides initially, and then unsportsmanlike conduct penalty gives the Springdale Bulldogs an incredible boost. So instead of the ball being on their own 40, the ball is just inside the Trojan 40-yard line at the 39-yard line, 9:10 left, and the clock is moving. The Bulldogs break from the huddle. Kirby Burks, Sean Friesian, the men in the backfield. Price splits out to the right. Here's the fake handoff. He rolls to the right. He's got him wide open. He just overthrows him, or does he? A beautiful catch, but he drops it. Oh, my goodness. Jason Price, very deceptive. It looked as if Reed had overthrown him, and then he underthrew him, actually. And as Price was falling down, the ball was right there in his hands, but he just couldn't hang on to it. Had he caught it, he probably would have been down at about the half-yard line. Reed doing an excellent job at quarterback for the Bulldogs tonight in his first start as a Springdale Bulldog. Play comes in by Williams. Bulldogs at second down, 10 yards to go. Been a good diversification of the Bulldogs offense tonight. They've been mixing the running plays up with the passing. Reed probably could have tucked that up and ran for a considerable yardage on that play. Comes down the line. It's going to be another pass play. Got a man open. Oh, almost a tremendous catch was made there by number 24, Bryant Chastain, but he just couldn't hang on to it, and you're looking at a 3rd down and 10 situation. Well, we'll see what the Bulldogs are able to put together here at this time as Clay Galloway comes in with the play from the sidelines. No real word on how many Bulldogs made the trip, but I'd say that probably 300, 400, 500 Springdale Bulldogs made the trip across the state line. A good contingent of them here, and they're going to need all the help they can give to these Bulldogs on this. A blitz play. Reed's being flushed out of the pocket, rolls around, has a man, throws, but it's out of bounds, and that's going to bring up a 4th down situation for the Bulldogs. So what was a good drive initially by the Bulldogs, helped out by a penalty, seems to have stalled out, and it appears that the punting team is on, and indeed Corey Wagner is in the huddle setting up for what will be the 3rd punt of the evening. Wagner will be punting just inside Springdale territory at about his 48-yard line. Again, Carson, the deep back for, and he shanks it horribly. And it takes, actually even bounces back. The ball's going to be dead at the 34-yard line, so what could have been a good opportunity for the Bulldogs to pin the Trojans back turns against them. And the Trojans are going to have a 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. No indication yet that Josh Trollinger will play any more in this game, and that hurts him at linebacker as well. Ray West in as his replacement along with Ben Weber. There's the handoff to Kalmus. He's met in the backfield by a host of Bulldogs, and that is really the first time that Springdale has met Kalmus in the backfield and kept him in the backfield. Good play led by Brian Smith-Peters at the nose guard position. Just played a tremendous game thus far. As well there on the tackle support Ben Weber was given. Ray West calling the defensive plays for the Bulldogs now in the absence of Trollinger. Trollinger left with what appeared to be a leg injury. And again, no word as to exactly what it is. So 2nd down, 13 yards to go. Trojans send a man in motion as they often do. They hand off to Kalmus. He has running room, wide open, and is brought down. And what could have been a game-saving tackle there, not game-saving, but touchdown-saving tackle by number 68, Brian Smith-Peters. But when your nose guard makes a tackle 10, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that's not where you want the tackle to be made. So 1st and 10 for the Trojans, as again they appear to be putting something together offensively, and Springdale desperately needs to assert themselves on the defensive side of the ball right now and shut down this potent offense. They send a man out wide. Actually have two split ends. He drops back, looks for his receiver, gets flushed out of the pocket, throws on the run, and we're going to have a penalty, and it could very well be pass interference or a holding against Springdale. We'll see the indication. It was thrown around Tim Williams, and the Springdale players are clapping their hands, so it appears that it's going to be against the Trojans. We'll watch and see. Excuse me. Springdale benefits from that penalty. Ball's backed up 5 yards. Be a 1st and 15 situation now for the Bulldogs. It appears there's a man downfield illegally. And timeout's going to be called by the Trojans, and that's very surprising. They wasted a timeout early. With that, we'll take a timeout with 6:45 left in the third quarter. The score is 18-14. We'll be back in a moment.
Love is patient, love is kind.
It does not envy.
It does not boast.
It is not proud.
It is not rude. It is not self-seeking.
It is not easily angered.
It keeps no record of wrongs.
Love does not delight in evil,
but rejoices with the truth.
It always protects, always trusts.
Always hopes, always perseveres.
Love never fails.
With 6:45 left, the Trojans faced a first and 15 from their 41-yard line. He throws the ball out in the flats. An excellent catch, a great catch made by Ananias Carson. He's made some great plays tonight. Stretches out, diving catch. And it's going to set up for the Trojans inside Springdale territory to about their 46-yard line, a 2nd down and 3 situation. Springdale shifts out of the set now in about a 5-3 long count. Handoff inside to Kalmus. He cuts back, has plenty of running room, and is dragged down from behind by Corey Wagner, but not before he makes a 1st down. 12-yard gain on the play by Kalmus. He's just chipping away. He had quite a few yards in the first half, as well as a 4-yard touchdown run. Big series here for Springdale. Need to assert themselves and stop the Trojans. And now we have Carson deep in the backfield. They send a man in motion. He drops back. It's a screen pass to the split end. He comes inside. Joe Davenport lassos him down, but not before he gains another 1st down. And so the Jenks Trojans really opening up their offense, showing the diversification that people in Oklahoma know them for. The ball's going to be at the 23-yard line for the Trojans. They use Kalmus all over the field, set him out wide, now have him back as the tailback. Springdale shifts again, attempting to confuse the Jenks Trojans. Handoff to Kalmus. He leaps over the line, and just leaping over the line gains several yards. In on the tackle, 61 Ray West and Ben Weber, 2 young linebackers for the Springdale Bulldogs in their first start of their Bulldog careers. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Jenks just seems to be methodically marching down the field, and as yet the Bulldogs have not shown an ability to stop anything they put together. It appears that Presley's calling off, checking off. He hands off inside to Kalmus, and Kalmus dives forward and appears to have the 1st down. It's going to depend on the mark of the official, but he's awful close at about the 13-14 yard line. Officials looking it over now. They're going to call it third down with about 1 yard to go.
I'll get it 3 stars. No one can have it. You can't get shit. I'll start that thing up.
Springdale trying to dig in and make something happen. There you see the sideline shot as they do just exactly that. Presley sets up I formation in the backfield, pitches to Kalmus. He has a blocker. He punches it inside and pops back outside. He has the 1st and 10. It'll be 1st and goal situation. And you got to hand it to this Jenks program because they really look impressive. Right now, they are looking like the #1 team in the state of Oklahoma. And if there's a team that's better than them, then they're going to have some incredible horses because this team is loaded with talent. Springdale desperately needs to make a defensive stand here. Kalmus is going to go into the end zone. No one seemingly had the ability to bring him down. So Kalmus, 8-yard touchdown at 4:26. That's his third touchdown of the night. And the Trojans go up by 10. This would be a pivotal point after, as it would give them an 11-point lead. Wingartner makes it, and the score is now 25-14. And with that, we'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
Is pizza integrity? Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert. That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza Inn.
We go for the kickoff as we get our graphics set. High kickoff taken at the 1-yard line deep. He breaks through several tackles and finally is dragged down to the 26-yard line. That looked like it was number 22, Todd Bewley. So Todd Bewley, 22, Todd Bewley, senior halfback. Good run back there from his own 1-yard line. And the Bulldogs, boy, I tell you, if there's ever a time that you need a touchdown, right now is the time the Bulldogs have to respond with something. So Reed comes to the line of scrimmage, runs a sweep play, good block, but he can't go anywhere. The Bulldogs are stopped by just a host of Jenks Trojans as they just swarm all over Kirby Burks. And he's going to actually lose 3 yards on the play, and it'll be second down, a long 12 yards to go. Springdale Bulldogs need a big play right now to get back in this game. Williams splits out wide. Chastain at the wing back. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. Had Friesen open, but threw just a little bit behind him. And Friesen could not hang on to the ball. Had he been able to get that ball in his hands, he may well have had a first down. So it brings up a third down, 12 situations. There's 3:17 left in the quarter. Here you see the Springdale Bulldogs as they're huddled up. The play comes in from the sideline. Jason Price brings that play in. And the Bulldogs up front, led by Rick Hammonds, Clint Penalto, Mark Blackwell, Lloyd Meeks, and Jonathan Lewis. That takes the snap. There's a blitz on. They pick it up well. Jim Ed Reed's got plenty of time, looks for a man. I tell you what, that's one of those things where Jason Price, if he'd have just turned the right way, might have well made a touchdown catch there, but as it was, there were a couple of Jenks Trojans there covering him, and the Jenks Trojans have held once again, are going to force the Springdale Bulldogs to punt, much to the delight of this partisan crowd of Trojan fans. Springdale needs to do something to create a shift in momentum here. Corey Wagner sets up at about his 12-yard line where he will attempt to punt the ball again. Ananias Carson deep for the Trojans. There's the snap. It's a good snap and a fairly good punt end over end to Carson. He gets by one man. They get a wall set up for him, but he's down at about the Springdale 47-yard line. So again, Jenks has good field position, and we may be looking at a game that could turn into just exactly that, a field position battle. And right now, it is not a good situation for the Bulldogs, as the field position is, the ball is in their end of the field. We've got a player injured down along the sidelines. No indication yet as to who it is. We've not seen at this point. Here he is. It is Jason Price, who's getting up very slowly. And it looks like he's holding his calf, like he may have been kicked in the calf. There along the sideline, much like Bulldog Stadium, the stands very close to the sideline, maybe a little bit more room here than we have at our own place. But really, one of the better facilities that we've ever been to. And I want to tell you something, this is the best press box. We've been in some weird places. I was telling Dr. Williams on the way over here, I can remember a couple of years ago calling a game from outside the stadium at Russellville. There was not a seat in that house left, and we've got to go back down there once again. Well, we'll be back to play here in a moment. The referee has started play clock, and the Trojans run to the line of scrimmage with a 1st and 10 at the Springdale 47-yard line.
My name is Dohon.
Kalmus again, the running back. He's brought down by Monster Man Butch Walker, but not before he gains good yardage on the play. He looks to have picked up about 6-7 yards on the play. It may be that Jenks' strategy here in this drive, just hand the ball off to Kalmus and let him keep running away and thumping away at the Springdale Bulldogs. A new player for the Bulldogs comes in, number 57, Corey Bowen. As Springdale tries to get some new troops in. Drop back pass, and he's out of bounds, and so it will be an incomplete pass. Presley just dropped back, had a man out into the flats. Would have been a 1st and 10, but he just threw it a little high over his head. Into the game also, Barry Noblin, sophomore, is now at linebacker as Coach Williams seems to be shifting in some new players. Noblin, of course, had a tremendous junior high career. See what he can do tonight. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. Big down for the Bulldogs. They hand off inside to Kalmus. He barely had that ball tucked along his side. And that's something the Springdale Bulldogs desperately need right now, is a fumble. He's going to be up close and appears to have a 1st down. And indeed, the officials indicate that he has made the 1st and 10. The Trojans just grinding out the yardage here against the Bulldogs, at the same time grinding out the clock. The Bulldogs at this point only down by 11 points. Really owned the 1st quarter tonight, but since that point have struggled a little bit. They scored at the beginning of the 2nd quarter, but at this point having some difficulty handling this potent offense. There again's a handoff to Kalmus. He fumbles the ball, and it is picked up immediately by Dustin Douglas. Exactly what we needed. On the last play, I mentioned that Kalmus had the ball. There you see Dustin. Kalmus had the ball down on his hip. Looked like he fumbled it. That time again, he never had a good handle on it. The ball came out, and Dustin Douglas grabbed it. And we can only hope that that may be the kind of play that might inspire this Springdale offense to begin to put some things together and hopefully get back in this ball game. 1:44 left in the quarter. Jim Ed Reed with a backfield that he's played with for many years. Hands off to Sean Friesen inside. Friesen keeps charging ahead, and he's going to make maybe 2 or 3 yards on the play. Friesen, Reed, and Burke all started together as junior hires. And here they are as Bulldogs. He's going to give him 2 yards on the play. Second down, 8 yards to go. We're going to move inside a minute to play in the third quarter when the Bulldogs get this next snap off. Bulldogs opener against the #1 team in the state of Oklahoma. Burks goes in motion. Reed comes down the line. Turns it up inside, and he's close to first down territory. And we'll see where they mark it. And as usual, officials always have to move the ball back. Don't know why that is with officials, but they just want to do that in their lives. I think that's the requirement for official. You will always move the ball back. Well, whatever. We're going to come to a situation where they may have to measure this. The ball is right on the 45-yard line, and my spotter, Harry Layton, here says it's 3 inches short. And that's what they're going to call third down. Now, Springdale had another third and short situation, and that time Jim Ed Reed just went forward. The sneak made it. Of course, the Jenks Trojans drove him back, but he still made the first down. So we'll see if he can do the same behind Rick Hammonds, who's 6'3", 247, sophomore. And that's exactly what he does. He just leans to the right and makes the 1st and 10. So the Bulldogs pick up a 1st and 10 here, much needed 1st and 10. And what will probably be the last play of the third quarter as the clock is beginning rolling. And so the Springdale Bulldogs are going to go into the fourth quarter trailing 25-14 with somewhat of a drive going here. So that's it. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back and bring you the conclusion of this game, the last quarter. Stay tuned.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is True Blue.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bring the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
This is one of the most finely tuned machines in existence. But tinker with drugs, and you could leave it a wreck. This message has been brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
Well, there we're back, and we see some of the Springdale Bulldogs who made the trek over here. And Arkansas, always loyal fans. You know that wherever these Springdale Bulldogs travel, there's 2 things you can count on. 1, you can count on Bulldog fans following their team. And 2, you can count on Channel 21, Springdale's family network, giving you the exclusive playback of these games. We travel even when it cost us big bucks, which this one did. First time ever that we've been charged to do a high school football game. We're losing money on this endeavor, folks. So here we go. Hopefully we'll pay them back and win this ball game. Reed from the 46-yard line, hands off inside to Friesen. Friesen breaks an initial tackle and makes about 3 yards. Looked like he might be able to make some more yardage on that, but he was finally brought down right at the 50-yard line. So Springdale, for the first time, just got the nose of the football into Jenks territory, and I believe that's apart from the penalty that they had on their opening drive that put them deep in territory. This is the first time they've been this deep in a while. Kalma, so far 25 carries in the game. I'm surprised. It didn't seem like he's carried that many times, 169 yards. That's an incredible amount of yardage. So Jim Ed Reed, second down, 6 is what they're going to call it. Comes down the line, tries to get around the corner and does so. Pitches at the last minute, a good pitch. It's going to be a 1st and 10. Boy, he just at the last minute pitched that to Bryant Chastain. He got further down the field and gives the Springdale Bulldogs another 1st and 10. And let's see where they're going to mark it, about the 38-yard line. So a good play by both Reed and Kalmus. Now, Wolf was the wing back, and no indication as yet Wyatt Chastain is in, but nonetheless, excellent run by him as Reed finally was about to be wrapped up, pitched the ball at the last minute. And the Bulldogs are on the move again with a 1st and 10 from the Jenks Trojans 38-yard line. Reed, 6'3", junior, takes the snap, hands off to Kirby Burke, gets by a man, cuts back, and a good run there by Kirby Burks. Springdale without their star running back, Josh Trollinger, and that really hurts the Bulldogs in 2 ways. One, at running back position, but also at the linebacking slot. A good run there, however, by Kirby Burks, the halfback. They're going to give him a 4-yard pickup on that carry, and it's going to give the Bulldogs then a 2nd down and 6 from the 34-yard line. Bulldogs still within reach of pulling an upset here. Steadily moving down the field. There's a little counter play that earlier went very well. This time only gained about a yard, and number 99 of the Jenks Trojans gets really excited about that. Richard Peaster bangs into one of the Springdale players. 3rd down, and they're going to mark him that he lost maybe a foot or 2 on that play. The ball's at the 35-yard line, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down 7. And you would think, given the circumstances, Springdale being down 11 points, that you're in 4-down territory here. And so we'll see what Springdale calls at this pivotal 3rd down position. Sean Friesen, the lone setback in the backfield. He drops back. He gets a little bit of a rush, dumps the ball off, and it's incomplete. Burks could not hang on to it as Reed was getting a little bit of pressure and just dumped the ball off, and it's going to be a 4th down. And we'll see what the Bulldog coaches do with an incompletion there. It would give, if they did not make the 1st and 10, it would give the Trojans good fair field position, but Springdale's going to go for it, 4th and 7, and this could well be one of the key plays of the game. If the Bulldogs make it, their hopes would stay alive. The Trojans stop them here, and you'd have to say they've got the game well in hand. Blitz play picked up by the Bulldogs. He's got a man wide open. He catches the ball, dives forward. Springdale has a 1st and 10. It's Kirby Burks who brings the ball down. Springdale picking up the blitz, and so the offensive line, all in all, has done a very good job tonight. And I think that probably the coaches would have to be pleased with the effort that the Bulldogs have put together here. If they can get the ball into the end zone right now, you've got a new ball game developing here. Burks splits out wide along with Clay Galloway. Sean Friesen is the lone setback. You have Chastain at wingback. He hands off to Friesen. He breaks 2 tackles, surges forward, gets down inside the 5-yard line for a 1st down, and with the Springdale Bulldogs erupt over on the opposite side of the field, and you can sense the surge of momentum now swinging in Springdale's direction. 1st and goal for the Bulldogs from the 4-yard line. When Springdale snaps this ball, they're going to move down inside 9 minutes. The ball is marked at the 4, as I said. Same backfield set. Friesen is the lone back. Burke split out wide. Jamed Reed hands off to Friesen. Friesen gets down to about the 2-yard line is where they're going to mark him. Friesen's shaken up, so we're going to have an official timeout. There you see him. No indication yet as to what may be wrong with Friesen. His mouthpiece comes out, but he can't be hurt too awfully bad. He has the alertness to pick that up. It's always amazing when you're hurt what you think to do. And we'll see just exactly what might be the problem. Sean Friesen in for Josh Trollinger. Played good. May simply have just gotten his bell rung. Coach is talking to him. Is making sure he's all right. It may just have been that he got the wind knocked out of him, but no, they're looking at his leg now. So little bit of a break in the action. I tell you what, wow, we've got this time out on this injury. We're going to take time out. We'll be back after this special message. You stay tuned.
All these colleges. How are we ever going to figure out where to go?
Beats me. Well, first you got to figure out how to pay for it, because Mom and Dad can't afford college for both of us.
Just overheard you guys. And there is a way to attend college full-time and get tuition assistance.
Hey, the Army National Guard. Now this is a way to get through college.
With the Army National Guard's tuition assistance programs and the Montgomery GI Bill, you can attend college full-time while serving in your community. The Army National Guard. Americans at their best.
He's got 30. Well, we're back, and we're sitting here trying to figure out who you put in. He's got Corey Wagner and Barry Noblem at fullback that he could put in. Your first team fullback's hurt. Your second team fullback's hurt. And the indication is Corey Wagner comes in, so Coach Williams goes with experience. Second down, 2 yards to go. He hands off to Kirby. He hands off to Wagner. Wagner goes in at 8:27 in the fourth quarter. A 2-yard touchdown run by Corey Wagner. And at the break, we were talking about this. And you would think that Springdale would go for 2 points at this point because that would set up a field goal possibility to tie it. But make a liar out of me. Corey Wagner is setting up for the point after. One of the things that you'd have to say is very big, my Spider Harry Layden points out, and it's a fake. It's going to be a pass. He's got him in the end zone, but he couldn't see him. He had Davenport in the back of the end zone, but he couldn't see them. It was a fake. Burks had the ball, but he just could not do it, and so they stopped that play, and so the Springdale Bulldogs are still behind 25-20. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Gerald McCraney. I play the part of United States Marine Corps Major on TV. Believe me, becoming a real Marine is major tough. You got to stay in school, stay in shape, and stay away from drugs. That's the only way you'll ever become one of the few. So, hey, why act the part when maybe you could be the real thing? So, Marines, what do you say we start with 1,000 push-ups, 22-mile run, and 1,500 sit-ups?
Is that all, sir?
Is that all, sir?
Well, we talked earlier about Springdale needed a turnover, and Calmus, one of the few mistakes he's made tonight, turned it over for the Bulldogs, and that was a big, big turnover as Springdale marched down the field, and Corey Wagner in for an injured Sean Friesen, third-team fullback at that point, you'd have to think, made the touchdown run at 2 yards out at 8:27. Springdale went for 2, but was unable to do it. Now, the defense has got to make a big, big stand right here and get the ball back to the offense. Wagner, who scored the touchdown, kicks it off. The ball is going to be taken at about the 12-yard line. He comes up, breaks to the outside, breaks loose from several tackles, and gets to the 42-yard line. That was, again, Ananias Carson, number 3, and how big he has been in this game. Because when the Bulldogs desperately need to make some kind of defensive statement, the last thing you need to do is give Jenks the football at the 42-yard line with 8:19 left in this game. But that's exactly what happens here. Well, I'll tell you one thing, when you're a program like Springdale, you don't want to talk about playing for respect, but you'd have to say that these people respect Springdale now as they have a mix-up defensively and they quickly call a timeout. With that timeout, we're going to take a timeout, and we'll be back in a moment.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bringing the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
Just found out that Jenks, ranked number 1 in the state of Oklahoma, the team below them is ranked 27th or 7th by USA Today, and Jenks is not ranked, so I figure that one out. But I tell you what, Jenks has met a determined opponent tonight in the Springdale Bulldogs. And if you follow Bulldog football, you really aren't surprised because these kids play with such heart and intensity. And boy, they need to do it right now. It's 1st and 10. This is probably the series of this football game. Handoff to Kalmus. He's stacked up, gains only 2 yards. Good defensive surge there by the Springdale Bulldogs, and that's exactly what they need. Sean Kobelin made a great play there. And it's apparent that the coaches now are beginning to put some new players in, give some of the players a break, give them a rest. One of the things that you want to look at here for Jenks is you can't get too conservative because you've got to keep this ball out of the hands of the Springdale Bulldogs. They come back, hand off to Kalmus. He was met in the backfield but broke that tackle, but that was enough to stop his momentum, and he is brought down. Joe Davenport makes the tackle. So it brings up a 3rd down situation. The ball is just inside the 45-yard line, and you can almost see the determination of the Springdale Bulldogs, those last 2 plays, doing what they have not been able to do earlier, and that's bring Kalmus down after even the second hit was placed upon him, but this time they are. Number 3, Ananias Carson split out wide, and Jenks takes its 2nd timeout. We'll keep it right here during this timeout. No indication exactly why. Maybe Presley didn't see something that he liked, but for whatever reason, he takes time out, gives the Bulldogs then an opportunity to take a rest, take a blow. Right now, conditioning is going to be a major factor in the rest of this ball game. As you see the Bulldogs there in their shot, trying to get directions from their coaches and get some water and hopefully get a little bit of a breather and meet what is a very, very determined football team. A lot of similarities in these 2 programs. Jenks, probably population-wise about the size of Springdale, has some of the same kinds of football traditions that Springdale has. We showed you the shot of the scoreboard where they have been state champions 3 times, 79, 82, and 83, and so they're hoping to string 3 in a row, and of course everyone knows how difficult that is. The Springdale Bulldogs entreating their fans, and that gets them on their feet. Jenks tries to match that, and so here we have one of the key plays of this ball game at 6:36. Snap count, he fakes the pitch. He has a man wide open, and that's what great football teams do to you. He hits number 88, Ben Owens, the tight end, in a great play, great call there in what very well could be one of the great plays of the night and one of the key plays. Good play fake there, froze the linebackers in because you probably think Kalmus, that's what they've been doing over and over and again. He's had close to 30 carries already tonight. They send a man in motion. Hands the ball off to Kalmus. And he breaks the initial tackle by Davenport, but is stopped by the 2nd man. But again, he picks up some yardage. And now the key thing for Jenks, not only scoring, but taking time off that clock. They get down inside the 30-yard line. The ball is about the 28-yard line for the Springdale Bulldogs. Several new faces in, as we've mentioned. Sean Coble in at tackle. And there's going to be a timeout by the officials. We have some kind of an equipment problem by one of the Springdale Bulldogs, and that's an official timeout while they attempt to fix that. Davenport, Coble in. Not sure exactly who else on the defensive line, as there's been some changes. Walker shows a blitz. Wolf. They hand off to Kalmus. He's going to get down to 1st down territory. And the Jenks Trojans grinding out the clock, making the 1st downs. And the Bulldogs need a break right now to get back in this game, time their enemy, as well as that huge offensive line We mentioned earlier that those guys, 214, 246, 228, 282, the lightest at 186, the guard, Travis Short, just banging away over and over against Springdale. I formation, they hand off to Kalmus, he cuts it back. He's got some running room, and it's finally brought down by the defensive backs by Springdale. Number 22 for the Bulldogs, Todd Bewley, made the tackle. But it's a good gain by Kalmus, 2nd down and 1. I don't know if the Bulldogs have ever faced an opponent that has run their tailback at them over 30 times. And I've watched an awful lot of Springdale football ball games, and I'm sure that some point in time there has been someone, but Kalmus has got to be getting close to the 200-yard mark. 4:50 left in the game. Presley takes all the time in the world, hands off to Kalmus. He's hit and hit hard by number 68, Brian Smith-Peters, but not before he makes another 1st down, and the Trojans keep the ball and keep the drive alive as he dives inside the 10-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and goal. A touchdown here, you would think, would pretty much seal this game away, as time is going to be the biggest enemy for the Bulldogs right now. Springdale does some shifting around. Presley drops back, hands the ball off to Kalmus. Kalmus is going to go into the end zone at 4:27. Actually, 4:28 was what it was. They clicked 2 seconds off. At 4:27 in the 4th, and that's interesting because he scored at 4:26 in the 3rd. On a 9-yard touchdown run, Kalmus gets his 4th touchdown. He had 4 touchdowns last week. He has 4 touchdowns this week. And that's put the Bulldogs in quite a hole. There's the snap. The PAT is up, and it's good. It doesn't look good to me, but they say it's good. So it's 32-20, and with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost,
but now am found.
was blind,
But now I see.
Well, we're back, set for this kickoff after Jenks scored what may very well be the key pivotal touchdown in this game. Springdale has about 4 minutes left to do something, and they're going to have to do something very quick. It would appear that you would be in a passing situation if you're a Bulldog. At least at some point they're going to have to put the ball up in the air. They may be able to run a few plays here on the ground. You can almost see the weariness in the Bulldogs that time as they came back out on the field, the receiving team. It's been a long night. It's been a tough game for the Bulldogs, but they have done very, very well when you consider that this is one of the finer teams in the nation, certainly in the state of Oklahoma. The ball's on the 26-yard line. Man goes in motion. He hands off inside. Couldn't tell exactly who the running back was. He's going to get up across the 30-yard line, and we'll wait until they all get up to see exactly who it was. Sean Friesen back in the game. Good to see him back. He's made some good, tough inside runs. He makes 4 yards on that play. And you can see the Bulldogs coming back to the huddle slow, taking their time. There's just not that crispness there that was once there. So you can tell that indeed it is late in the game. Clay Galloway coming out split wide. Friesen, the lone setback. Bulldogs send a man in motion. Almost intercepted. And he was looking to go short to Davenport, but was unable to get him. And Davenport, boy, just you can see the weariness on these young men. as both the tiredness from this game sets in and also the fear that you may be looking at your first defeat of the season in your opener. Springdale not accustomed to dropping opening ball games, but then they're not accustomed to opening with this kind of opponent. Reed's going to drop back. There's a blitz. He has to throw quickly. It's caught by Davenport, an excellent catch. He's going to have a first down, and so Springdale's still alive with the ball at their own 45-yard line. Joe Davenport showed some good ability at the tight end position, making the catch there. The Trojans have blitzed repeatedly throughout this game, but as yet have not been able to drop Reed on any of the blitzes. We're at just under 3 minutes, 2:55 and counting. 1st and 10, Reed drops back, rolls to his left, gets some pressure now, throws a wobbly pass, and was over the head. He was just throwing it away to get rid of it. Good coverage by the secondary by the Jenks Trojans. Here you see some of the Jenks fans, and they're obviously delighted at what has occurred tonight. This will move them to 2-0. And you'd have to think from Jenks' standpoint as a coach, this is just exactly what he needed for his program, a good, tough ball game, hard-fought ball game. And you have to leave being impressed with his offensive line and their ability to just control and dominate. 2:47 is the time left, 2nd down, 10 to go. Jenks blitzes again. Ball's intercepted. This may be for a touchdown. As Jim Ed, it's a hold, ref. That is absolutely horrible. The ref's standing right there. The Jenks Trojan grabs a hold of Jim Ed, and he doesn't call it. Well, those are the things you fear when you get down late in a game, and you hope right here that Springdale can hold Jenks out, because this has been a tight ball game. A touchdown here really would make this look much different than what this game has really been, because you're in a situation where Springdale at their 45-yard line with a little bit of a drive going, it was conceivable if they could have scored and scored quickly, could have very well have an onside kick, been in a position to have win the game. But right now they're going to be hanging on for their life. The ball's at the 12-yard line. And of course, there still is the first team in. At this point, you really wouldn't expect anything different from the Jenks coach, as this game is not out of reach yet. Calmus takes the handoff. He's going to be brought down. For the first time, Josh Trollinger back in the game. He gets up kind of lamely, and that is a good thing to see for the Bulldogs at the 9-yard line, 1:52 and counting, and the clock's got to be the friend of the Bulldogs now, just from the standpoint of trying to get this game over and get out of it, as Josh Trollinger limps off the field, and he's made quite a contribution tonight, and the Bulldogs sorely missed him. 1:37 and counting. Presley just taking his time. Hands off inside. Going to be close to a touchdown as he gets down to about the 1-yard line. That was Ananias Carson, and so the Bulldogs backed up against their own end zone with that turnover looming very, very large. 1st and goal for the Jenks Trojans, as they're, for their pride's sake, going to want to punch one in, because they don't want people to think they were as tested as they were. There's the handoff. Good penetration by the line, but he breaks through and scores the touchdown from 1 yard out. Ananias Carson at 1 minute puts this game away. 1 yard touchdown run. Well, if you're the Jenks Trojans, really, you don't want to lay down, and you've got to do that. So Springdale fans may be a little bitter about that score, but if you're a coach, there's not much you can do there. You got to score, and still not out of the game with Springdale until that score, certainly. And the PAT is good, and that makes it 39-20 with that. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Baby cries, and Mama rocks away the harm.
Every day, abortion denies 4,000 tiny unborn babies the right to live, the right to be loved, the right to take that first big step. 4,000 abortions a day, 1,500,000 abortions a year is a lot of love denied.
This year, more than 2 million high school students will receive something very important. Something only a high school education can provide. The opportunity to become a United States Marine. Don't throw your education away. For more information, call now.
Well, welcome back. And people will look at this score, and if they don't read the article that will accompany it, they'll think that it was a humiliating defeat for Springdale, but quite a ball game. Actually, I tell you what, this is the kind of thing that makes high school football fun. Springdale penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct on the kickoff. The penalty was assessed, not exactly what occurred there. You got to leave being very impressed with this Jenks football team, but I tell you something else. If you're a Bulldog fan, a lot of questions going into this game were answered tonight by the Bulldogs, and that kick's going to sail way into the end zone. The band will get that one. And it's a positive for Springdale, and there's no time off the clock. Well, maybe Springdale could do something exciting and run one back and kind of gig the Jenks Trojans a little bit. 1 minute left when we start this. And we're glad that you were a part of this rebroadcast. Next week's game, we hope, certainly will turn out differently. A home opener for the Springdale Bulldogs. Oklahoma City Star Spencer, the opponent. Not really sure about Star Spencer, what kind of program they have. A smaller school. Well, the Bulldogs aren't going to give up. They're going to put the ball in the air, but it's incomplete. Reed throwing for Burks. Well, the one thing is the Bulldogs never gave up, and that's something to be commended for. And you talk about pride, and again, I mentioned when you're a program like Springdale, you don't play for pride, you play to win. And that's the difference. Losers play for pride, winners play to win. And the Bulldogs certainly tonight showed that they're a winning program. Second down, 10 yards to go, 56 seconds left. Reed is going to take the snap and finds a receiver. He drops the ball, and it's going to be incomplete, so it's going to be a third down situation. 51 ticks left. Well, third down, 10 yards to go. Ball's at the 20-yard line of the Springdale Bulldogs, 51 seconds left. Let's see what Reed is able to do here. He drops back. Good coverage. He's going to be chased out of the pocket. Got a man down here, Burks, going long. He's got a man wide open. He catches the ball, and he's going to be down the sideline. That's number 24, Bryant Chastain. And so the Bulldogs, with 39 seconds left, get down to the 30-yard line. And if you're a Bulldog fan, and many of them have already headed for their cars to head for the house, but boy, wouldn't it be good to see Springdale put something on the board and kind of take back that last touchdown at least. 39-20 is the score. If you missed this ball game, you missed a tremendous high school football game. And we've seen maybe one of the finest high school football programs in Oklahoma, certainly at Jenks. We also saw some positive things from the Bulldogs. Reed being forced out of the pocket, goes down the sideline, cuts back. He's going to get down close inside the 10. Springdale has timeouts left, but it will be stopped because it is a first down. And boy, when you talk about playing for pride, this is a proud Springdale program. They're going to desperately want to put this thing into the end zone. 19 seconds left. The Bulldogs have a first and goal. And boy, you know, they're going to want to get this one in the end zone. No indication if this is same set of defenders. Again, they blitz. There's a ball to Davenport. Davenport's going to try to get this one in. He does. Touchdown. Joe Davenport with 13 seconds left. And boy, you just got to feel good for these young men to get a touchdown. And really, that makes this ball game look much more like what it really was. This has been an offensive show. And if you follow Bulldog football, it's kind of surprising because I'm not sure when the last time Springdale scored, by the way, 26 points and didn't win a ball game. They're setting up for the 1-point PAT. 13 seconds left. There's the snap, and it's up, and it's good. And so the score is going to be 39-27. The Bulldogs put together an impressive drive there. And that's going to make the score look much better than what it would have been. And I think it's a clear indication of what these young men can do. Okay, 13 seconds left. 39-27. The Bulldogs are going to open up with a loss. Corey Wagner is here. They're going to try an onside kick. For nothing else, it's good practice. There it goes. It's going to go out of bounds. We're going to have a penalty. Well, the last play of the game, 13 seconds left. Jenks is just going to snap it and bend down. What a great game this has been. The Bulldogs have shown some real promise for the 1994 year. The final is going to be 39-27. For all of our crew here at Channel 21, thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this exclusive playback. I'm Mark.